Have you ever asked yourself, what if she has a crush on you? No, she doesn't. Anyways, let's talk why 90% of the people will never make it as a software developer. First, I'm gonna ask you the most important question. Then we're gonna look at this pyramid I drew. And then we're gonna talk why getting a job is harder than Dark Souls. Now, before I start cooking, please take a second and hit like and subscribe to support the channel. Okay, now let me cook. The most important question. Would you consider this profession if it was paid below average? A. You guys are getting paid? B. Huh? C. No. D. No, but in red. Now, because I see you having trouble answering a yes or no question, let's see what Douglas Crockford, the inventor of JSON, said in an interview. There are people now who are forced to do programming because all the other jobs have disappeared and they really don't like it. But it used to be nobody did this unless they really wanted to. And we enjoyed it so much. If we got a job, I was like, they gonna pay us to do this? This is amazing because we would have done it anyways. We still do it anyway. I went on vacation and did programming. I just enjoy doing it. The main motivation for a lot of people who wanna start a career in software is what? Yeah, cash, right? And this is perfectly fine. But you need to understand that you need to have the motivation to sacrifice hundreds of hours of your life to learn this or even this. Having cash as your main motivation will in most cases not be enough. If you hate learning computer science theory, you will never understand how your computer works, and you will have a hard time solving complex problems. I mean, the same goes for anything. Ask any NBA player. They will tell you they like throwing hoops and therefore they spend hours and hours practicing. Ask any MMA fighter. They will tell you they always liked the idea of punching someone in the face. And when they found out they can get actually paid for it, dreams came true. So, you need to be real with yourself. Are you really interested in how computers work and like coding and debugging? Or are you just in there for the money? I mean, you can be both, of course. But if you have zero interest in software and you have only cash in mind, you should reevaluate your goals. Because there are a lot of other professions where it is much easier to get into a position to earn good money. So, it really makes sense asking yourself, would I be considering this profession if it was paid below average? And this is the most important question probably. Be real with yourself. Me personally, yeah, of course money played a factor in my decision. But at the same time I also did a lot of free projects. Open source stuff, low paying internships, or even no paying internships for that reason, just to get more experience. Even my first job wasn't paying that much, it was comparable to other full-time jobs. But since I wasn't in there just for the money in the first place, I didn't have a problem with working full-time for a bit over average money. And then with time, as I got better, got more experience, expanded my knowledge on some certain niche topics, well, I got paid much more, at one point even doubling my initial salary. Problem here is that people focus on the top 1% who earn over 300k a year and think that's the norm. No, earning 500k a year is not the norm. The salary highly depends on your location, experience, working hours, responsibilities, and so on. So in summary, you will have a hard time if you only focus on the money and have zero interest in the actual craft of software development. The reason is you need to be ready to learn and work on stuff for a long period of time. And someone who hates basketball will have a hard time becoming a pro just because he wants LeBron money. Okay, now let's look at the pyramid. Software development is a very competitive field. Besides being very competitive, it's also very broad and complex. So, doing an online course and thinking you will immediately get a job is like playing FIFA Manager and thinking you will coach Manchester United next week. I mean, you will probably do a better job than some of the folks who did it, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. Anyways, just stop and think for a moment. If there was a 4-week course, after which you get a 6-figure job from home, then everybody would do it. And that's exactly why I see so much people desperately jumping from course to course without any clear roadmap in the hope to pull the golden ticket at some point. You have to understand that these courses mostly cover just the basics. Software engineering doesn't fit into a 4-week or even a 4-month course for that sake. People who are not familiar with the development process of creating a commercial piece of software often think it's just about coding. I mean, this is not wrong per se, but anyone in the industry will tell you that it's much more than just writing code. There's a lot of cool things in the job like coding and tinkering around, but there's also the other part like writing documentation, requirements, testing, integration, and so on. So, if we draw a, let's call it pyramid of knowledge, on the top are the things you know. Then comes the layer of stuff you know you don't know. And then comes this ocean of things you don't know. The point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of things that you don't know that you don't know. The most important thing for now is to be aware of it. So don't panic, it's completely fine. Been there, done that. Let's now talk on how to overcome this gap of knowledge. First, you need to be aware of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Don't think you are the shit because you printed out Hello World on your screen in Python. So, your goal is to expand your knowledge but also minimize the things you don't know. If you don't know what a circular dependency is, it's fine, but not knowing it even exists, that's a problem. That means you will need to spend hours and hours in learning these things. Coding, doing projects, reading books, watching videos, and so on. Some general advice from me for anyone who wants to get into software development would be to watch at least some basic computer science lecture, to have the basic understanding on how computers work, what are bits and bytes, what's a compiler, what are interpreted languages, and so on. Knowing how code is executed and what happens under the hood will help you significantly when it comes to solving problems. This is so easy.
We are back, baby!
Sure, but why do people fail then? Okay, last but not least, let's talk about why the job hunt is worse than Dark Souls. Okay, now let's imagine, just imagine that you gathered all the needed knowledge, you love coding, you got also some certificates and done maybe a project or two and uploaded everything in GitHub. Let's now secure the bag, right? You will soon realize that the recruiting procedure is a circus in hell of itself. One day you're sending out CVs and getting instant rejections, the next day you are bombing at a coding interview. Because somehow you forgot how to code, even though you're coding 24/7. The problem here is that it's possible to fail at every stage of the recruiting process. You can fail at your CV because it just looks goofy, or you can fail at the coding interview, and also at any other stage basically. But now, again, it's not impossible. You just need to stay committed to get the bag. If you have zero experience and no formal education in computer science, you will have a harder time than someone with these things. From the HR point of view, every person with a degree and no experience is better than every person without a degree and no experience. This is of course complete bullshit, but how are you gonna explain this to someone who hasn't done any programming themselves in the first place? This is a battle everyone needs to be ready to fight when applying for jobs. Even with a degree it can be hard, especially if you're applying into any position in fan companies. Why? You're literally fighting with the whole world for the position. And trust me, even the guys whose tutorials you watch to prepare for the job, even he's applying for this job. So you are basically fighting against your own sensei at this point. Therefore, you need to be real with yourself and maybe not aim to get right away in a fan company. There's nothing wrong with applying to a less known company just to get a few years of experience. And then when you're ready, just apply again if you wish. So in conclusion, there are a lot of reasons why people fail at starting a career in software. But most of the factors are related to the lack of genuine interest in software development. So you need to ask yourself the question, am I interested in this or is it just the Lambos? If it's just Lambos, then maybe you should reconsider it. However, if it's a mix of Lambos and debugging legacy code, then maybe you are in the right place. So that's it for today, thanks for watching, hit like and subscribe and see you in the next one, Tariq 10x.